Sure.
Would you like to ride in my...
And we're kind of derailed there. Welcome to Raising the Standards. I'm sure we'll get all the cars back on the track. That was boy, when you stop a train.
Everybody falls out.
That's right, Brando. How are you, buddy?
Doing well, and you?
Good. Welcome to Raising the Standards. A good start. You and I are obviously both big baseball fans, and certainly an exciting start for the Yankees today, who hit home runs on the first three pitches.
Yes, and then another one.
Oh, no, another one in that, and now they've got 7 through 3 innings.
They have 8 now.
Now they have 8. Well, the record for home runs in a game, do you know this?
No.
Is 10. And I didn't realize that the Toronto Blue Jays did that. But don't start tuning out. We're not going to talk baseball all day. Welcome to Raising the Standards. Jacoby with you. Good show today. We're going to talk to our dear friends from the Tres Pinos. Or Tres Pinos in. They keep having to change the sign around every time I announce their name. Mary Howard be with us. Find out what's happening at one of Rachel and my own favorite haunts. You've never gone there?
No, never.
Yes. Well, you need to get there one of these
I
days.
need to get out of town every once in a while.
That's right. You need. Well, it's the ankle bracelet that goes off. That's not good.
That's my problem.
And then coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Michael Arkush, who's written a book called The Golf 100 that is absolutely fascinating. It's a list of the 100 players, the 100 greatest players of all time. And you say to yourself, it's
Did
just
Mickelson make the list?
well, yes, absolutely.
Save it for the book.
Yeah, he paid to get in. But fascinating book, and we'll talk more about it when we get Michael on the line. Got a liner notes. We'll pay a little tribute to Vocalese with the great Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. Rachel is on her way. She's trapped in traffic somewhere. I hope she can get around the A train, which just fell off. So anyway, we're about to hear from a few minutes from Mary Howard from Tres Pinos. So your life is okay?
Mary Howard's on the line.
Mary Howard's on the line. Well, let's bring Mary Howard in, and we'll have a little chat with our good friend Mary Howard.
Hello.
Hello, Mary. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Now, let me ask you a question. Are you babysitting?
I will be at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I do the day shift at the inn and the night shift with the grandbaby.
Well, we're going to talk about that because we were on the air, I think, the day that you had both your daughters, Morgan and what's your other daughter's first name? Samantha, and they both had their babies on the first day. Before we talk about the restaurant, walk me through that day.
So, well, both of my daughters were due about 2 weeks apart. We knew that the whole time. And so my plan was to be in Idaho, where Samantha is, and then make sure that I was in California not too long after for Morgan. And a couple of days, I got a phone call saying, "Hey, Mom, they're admitting me into the hospital," from both of them, that they were both on a Monday, the same day. And so I just kind of gambled that the one that was due first would have her baby first still, and she did. So I was in Idaho when Samantha had her baby girl Scout, and kissed Scout and my daughter and said, "See ya," and I jumped on a plane and landed in San Jose and Morgan was up there at the hospital and was able to be there for that labor. She was in labor longer, which I had gambled right, and had her baby the next day. So cousins are one day apart.
Well, there's nothing like going through a TSA with a diaper bag. It's, I'm in a hurry, get me a seat.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was an incredible exhaustion, and so it's been great.
Well,
and we actually have another grandchild due in July from my other son, who already has a baby girl. So her name will be Layla. So we're looking forward to introducing Layla at some point as well.
Nothing like getting the new title of grandma and having it echo.
Right? Yes. So it's very exciting. So I'm Gram Gram, and Mike is Pop Pop.
Yep.
And, with Emerson, which is Morgan's baby, he spends a lot of time at the restaurant as well. So he is, and this is, you never want to clarify it that this is a true story, but, he is Emerson W. Puck.
Really?
So we plan to, his dad's middle name is Wolfgang. And so we are going to definitely have some fun with that with him. He loves food already.
Yeah.
So each Puck will hopefully have some type of series going on at the end as he lets us know his likes and dislikes. So that's kind of something we're.
What a wonderful blessing, and talk about being born into the restaurant business. I remember when my kids were real little, 3 and 4, they were eating oysters. So I'm sure Emerson will be in that category as well. That having been said, he couldn't, when those teeth grow in, he couldn't have landed as your other grandchildren coming and here couldn't have a better place to grow up than in a Tres Pinos. Tell me now with being a grandma, and as you say, you take the night shift. Your days now, you're working. You work in the restaurant in the day.
Yeah. So I come in. That's what I'm doing right now. I am making sure all our, we go through our tags every day for employee and customer satisfaction of what's going on, what seemed popular the night before. Any notes on, hey, lag or unhappy, we look at everything, and then now we can reach back in the afternoon before service and tidy things up, or, call customers and confirm their experiences, stuff like that, and then I turn into grandma, and Morgan comes in, and she's, doing great at, being ahead of the ship, whether it's in the kitchen or, checking on customers in the front. I mean, she's definitely honing her skills for being the face of the inn, and she's doing great. Well,
Pop is somewhere listening saying, can we talk about the restaurant now? Yes, we can. What
is important?
Yeah, we got the important stuff out of the way. Tres Pinos, the inn at Tres Pinos. I just love. My wife and I have had dinner there many times, and Rachel is a big fan. And you guys do such interesting specials. And I know it's obviously as spring comes along, and we've certainly spring is here. I hear. What have you got going?
Right now we are, we always like to, on our classic entrees, have another choice. And right now we are doing mahi-mahi for our specials this week. They change every week. And we are also doing a whole roasted New York this weekend as well. We change up our oysters. Right now we're doing the Petite Royal Miyagis out of British Columbia, and so we get to have that fun spin on it's not always just a prime rib special. We get to dabble in a lot of different stuff, and that's what we're doing this weekend. Always have a soup du jour as well, which is right now we're doing. I have 2 favorites when they do some of their soups that they're good at, which is they're doing a Southwest chicken and black bean.
Oh,
yum! I always love their oh my gosh, I was just looking at it too. It's so They have a Greek lemon chicken. I'm a big chicken fan when it comes to soup. So whenever they have that, sometimes there's not enough for everybody else because I run in and steal some. But they get to have fun with their soups. We let kitchen pretty much decide. Hey, what are you guys doing? Because when you're cooking what you want to cook, you're always going to cook it a little better.
I don't think we've ever talked about the executive chef. What's his or her name?
So we have a couple, actually. We, in technical terms, our kitchen doesn't run with an executive chef. Collaboration. But we do have Chef Nelson, who has been with us for almost 22 years.
Oh, that's wonderful.
We have Chef Jose, who is our pastry chef, who we were just talking about it, for close to 35 years. And then our grill chef, Justino. So we all like to have them collaborate and work together. And then we are active in that kitchen with them on a daily basis and helping them with the things that they need as far as inventory, ordering, all the boring stuff.
Well, it's not only a wonderful family affair and getting more and more of that way each day. It's also a great team that has come together, and you feel that when you come into the restaurant.
And it's a true statement when you say that it is a team, because every position in there is important. We won't function with one or out the other, whether you're our housekeeping, dishwasher, everything. One of the most important positions in that kitchen is the dishwasher. Mm-hmm. You cannot operate.
Oh, absolutely.
But you need to have a clean, wonderful dish available in a timely fashion, and it's just as important. It's amazing how sometimes those positions are overlooked, but it takes all of them, and we do our best to support them and stay out of their hair at the same time, and watch them create. But yeah, so it's definitely. No one can do it by themselves. The front of the house can't operate without a great back, and vice versa. So now, we try to.
Mary, am I right? Is it the Inn at Tres Pinos or Tres Pinos Inn?
So it is both.
Okay.
Right. It was Tres Pinos Inn, which is our website. We couldn't leave that behind. When the restaurant was purchased in '91 by Mike. He wanted to really not change too much, so it became, because it did need an update on the name when he bought it. So it's the Inn at Tres Pinos, but both are really the same. We don't correct anybody that I go to the Tres Pinos Inn or Tres Pinos Inn.
Well, this is someone who's thankful for you understanding that. Hey,
yes.
It's not only a spectacular menu that, and there's so many. And one of my pet peeves, having worked with a lot of restaurants from a marketing standpoint over the years, are restaurant menus that are written in stone. And one of the things I admire so very much about you guys is, you just quite literally and figuratively bring new things to the table every day, and it is a terrific menu, and every version of it is terrific. It's also a terrific venue. So let's talk for a second about, you've got all these nooks and crannies and little rooms and big rooms. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the restaurant is designed on the main restaurant we have different seating areas. One, of course, when it's dark outside, has a wonderful ocean view with giant windows. And we have our wine room that seats up to 10. That is, you request it. If it's available, you've got it. And seats up to 10 and is a beautiful room in our wine room that allows for some privacy but still being part of the action. We have a wonderful patio that seats close to 30 outside with fire pit tables. And then behind the restaurant, or what we consider above, is our Inns Private Guest House that you can see pictures of on our website that offer private dining, 10 to 80. We do strolling dinners for larger groups. It has its own private patio. It's got its own private porch. And we utilize that a lot. It's got its own bar. It's really set up very nicely for intimate, service dining or strolling, what we call a buffet. And we get to have fun with that with different size groups, a lot of surprise parties. And we've had small, intimate weddings up there. And just, again, we get to have fun with it. You create it, and we'll figure it out.
Not to mention weekly baptisms.
Exactly. Yes. We have the church right up the road. Absolutely.
Right. Well, Tres Pinos. Folks haven't been there. It's you take. Is it Airport Boulevard out of Hollister?
Airline Highway.
I'm close there. And it is just a thrill and such a great place, particularly this time of year. The nights are longer, the days are longer. It's a great drive from the peninsula, and certainly a marvelous place to end up.
And one quick
Sure.
note is we have some wonderful wineries around us: Duckhorn, Calera, DeRose, Eden Rift. When you're on the cute little wine trail around us, we offer local corkage. If you visited our wineries and happen to grab some wine on the way, visiting them, and we open at 4 right after most of the wineries are starting to close down for the day of their tastings, and we don't charge our corkage for any local wines.
Boy,
that comes down.
Yeah, that's a great deal. In Tres Pinos. The website is spectacular as well. Is Morgan? I don't know who's doing your Instagram, but videos are terrific.
That's Morgan. Yeah, that's all her. She's amazing. Yeah, she's got that all dialed in, which is amazing, and we love her for that.
That's because she has all that time on her hands from grandma babysitting.
Right? Yeah. Hello.
Mary Howard, we love you, and we love your restaurant, and we're so happy for you. And it must be such fun with the kidlets and one on the way.
Yes, it's ever evolving, but yes, still very fun.
All right, you take care of yourself. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mr. Scobie. Bye.
All right, bye. Nice ladies. You've got to get over there, Brandon. You ever get out? You don't get out, do you? No, you don't. That's right. That's the problem of being on a morphine drip. That's
and the ankle monitor.
The ankle monitor and the morphine drip will definitely cut into your social life. You're listening to Raising the Standards. Brando and myself hanging out with you today. And so I say Michael Arkhush will be calling us in a few minutes to talk about the new book, The Golf 100. It's that time of the year where a hop, skip, and a flip wedge from the Masters, which is 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. Well, it'll be the Saturday of the Masters, 2 weeks from today. But it starts 2 weeks from last Thursday. So what else you got going? You binging anything? And don't tell me about the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. That's one of those things. I keep binging that for some
I've been
reason.
watching comedians in cars getting coffee again.
Okay.
I love that show.
Yeah.
I just love the cars.
Yeah.
And then it's always fun to see a comedian try and tell jokes in front of Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that.
You ever seen Seinfeld in person?
No, never.
Yeah. It's interesting because he's good, but it literally the show. You ever wonder why it's always the same kind of observation humor, and you see everybody kind of looking off in the distance, going, "Yeah, I've always wondered why that." But he's fun to see in person.
Where did you see him perform?
I saw him, I think, at the old Flint Center, which was at De Anza.
Right, I know that.
You've been to Cupertino.
I've been to Cupertino. My mom works there in Cupertino, actually.
Well, the Flint Center's gone. It's De Anza College. They tore that. I went there once with a buddy of mine to see Neil Armstrong speak. First man to walk on the moon. Right. First man on the moon. And I figured it was going to be this real emotional lecture about here is this hanging on the black velvet is this globe and earth and the darkness and on about this. Well, it turned out he did like 2 hours on coal mining on the moon. And it couldn't have been more boring. And I said, it's a very small step for a man. But that was a good venue. One of the other venues has probably been, you're a little young to remember, that I used to spend a lot of time at in San Carlos, was the Circle Star Theater.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Did you ever go there?
I went there as a very
Very
small
end.
child.
Oh, you did? Because it burned down, I think, in 97 or something.
Yeah, so I went and saw, I was very young, and I saw Alvin and the Chipmunks perform.
Really?
Yeah, I was like...
No kidding. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I saw Sinatra. I used to go there a lot when I was doing radio up there. I saw Sinatra there many times.
Yeah. I thought
But-
he always performed at Santa Clara.
No, he had Circle Star many years. And I saw Willie there, and a buddy of mine was, and we're just got to keep an eye on the phone in case Michael calls. But a buddy of mine was an assistant. We had a good friend that ran the theater, and then he kind of worked with the parking lots and all the interior stuff. And the deal was when Willie Nelson was playing, if a Hell's Angel came up to the door, the back door, the stage door, just let him in. That was the deal. But my friend told me a story. He says this Hell's Angel comes up, a big guy, obviously.
Yeah,
he comes in, and I said to him, "Sir, I see you've left a lot of your backpacks and stuff on your motorcycle out there. I have to tell you, we have no security in the parking lot there." Mm-hmm. And the guy looked at him and said, "Would you touch it?" I went, that's a good point.
Yeah, he makes that.
And I saw Willie do 3 hours, and they were passing beers from the audience and passing joints up. It was just, bring it up, whatever you got, I'll do that. That's fine.
What a story.
The nightlife, indeed. Anyway,
Oh, we have a caller.
We do have a call. Let's go to the phones, and as I mentioned, Michael Arkush. Michael, are you there?
This is Pauletta Walsh.
Who is this?
Pauletta Walsh.
We've got to clear that.
I'm sorry, Pauletta Walsh.
It's Paulette. We'll catch you because we've got another call coming in a few minutes. Paul,
Okay.
put Paulette on. Let's see
It
what
says Michael Golf.
That's Michael Arkush. Okay,
Yeah.
Michael, you there, buddy?
Almost.
Hello, Michael. Michael.
It's coming through.
Okay, we're waiting.
Are you there?
Yes.
Oh, hello, Michael. How are you?
There.
Mike,
Good.
Jacoby with you. I was just talking about the fact, Michael, your book, The Golf 100, and since we are a hop, skip, and a flip wedge from the Masters, it couldn't be a better time for a book to come up. But a little background. You and I have chatted a few times in the last 2 or 3 weeks because we have a very good mutual friend in our friend Jim Dotson, who of course wrote Final Rounds and one of the legendary writers in golf. Where do you know Jim from?
Gosh, I've known Jim for over 25 years. I first met him when I was at Golf World magazine, and we have had tremendous conversations over the years. I have the greatest respect for him, and I'm glad any friend of Jim's is a friend of mine.
Okay, yeah, well, that's kind of you to say. Dotson once described my swing as a drunkard being attacked by wasp. So he has a way with words, indeed.
When are we playing for money?
Well, yeah, that's Dotson. I had to send him a long putter because his putting went south. So he says, as my son said, there's a huge geek factor, and I said there's a bigger geek factor when you 3-putt from 4 feet. So that's how it happens. So you've got let's get to your book because I got to tell you. The whole concept of this book, and I know, and I've been kind of telling people about it, and buddies on the course. And I said, "This is this wonderful book." And they go, "Oh yeah, it's just a list of 100 players." I said, "No, not just a list. What's fascinating about what you've put together, and particularly Michael, for a guy like me, since I have ADD, is you have these great little 3-page vignettes or narratives on all the players and why you chose them and their backgrounds.
Yeah, I felt it was important to tell their stories of what made them great, and in many cases, what made them flawed. Because it's funny, as great as some of these guys were, many men and women, they had some issues that kept them from being even greater. but I feel that those stories haven't been told enough over the years about the players of the past and how they paved the way for the players of today.
Let's just take an example. And particularly since with the Masters coming up, there's the most obvious story. Well, not the most obvious, but one of the obvious stories about the Masters is Roberto Di Vincenzo, where he signed the wrong scorecard, which lot. If you're a golf fan, you're probably aware. But the Jackie Burke story, I thought was fascinating. Tell a little bit about that and the fact that with the 40-mile-an-hour winds that day, and the fact that he was from Texas, how much it helped him.
Yeah, he knew how to play in the winds, and that was a problem for so much of the field. I mean, they had terrible scores that day. Ken Venturi had a 4-shot lead. He was an amateur. 4-shot lead after 3 rounds, and he shot an 80, including 6 3-putts. And Jackie Burke won. It was one of his 2 major victories. Great performance. It just shows you're never quite out of it. Paul Lawrie won the British Open in '99, 10 back. That was the John Van de Velde story. But even if you're 6, 7, 8 shots back going into the final round of a major, you still got a shot.
Yeah.
Well, how many strokes was Norman up when he lost?
6.
6. So he was up 6. Venturi was a friend of mine, and a lot of people don't. And Ken was a good friend of Crown Royal, but a lot of people don't realize it. He asked Sinatra to be his best man, and And Frank said, "No, I can't be your best man because the best man can't pay for the wedding, and I'm paying for the wedding."
Yeah, I mean, he was a great friend. I mean, Ken used to tell me stories. I wrote the book with Ken, his memoir in 2004.
What a good guy!
Yeah, great guy.
Now there again, returning to Augusta, one of the most interesting stories. It was when Venturi had a real shot several times of winning that as an amateur, and the Arnold Palmer story. Tell us a little bit about that.
The Arnold Palmer story. Well, that's the 1958 Masters 12th hole, and Ken's playing with him in the final round, and Arnold Palmer hits his tee shot on 12, the par 3 that we know so well. It's embedded near the green, and basically Arnold, winds up with a double bogey, but afterwards he said he's going to hit a second ball, and he gets a 3 on that ball. And Ken's argument was that Arnold should have declared before he hit the first ball that he was going to hit 2 balls. The Augusta National ruled on it and let Arnold take the 3, and Arnold wound up winning the tournament.
Well, and it was not only Ken's argument; Ken was correct on it, and
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the Masters Committee said, well, it's Arnold. And you wonder if that would have happened with the committee and Clifford Roberts had it been anybody else.
I don't know. I do think that, there have been a lot of different interpretations about those events. And Ken was certainly very upset about it. And he wanted to talk about it in his book, which came out in 2004, as I said, and I'm glad he had that opportunity.
And I think it came out, to drop another name, Paul Spengler, who was vice president of golf at Pebble Beach for years, a buddy of mine, and he was very close to Arnold, as is our friend Dotson. But that book came out, I think, the last year that Arnold played at the Masters, so it was kind of overshadowed, and the timing was not great.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly wasn't any intention.
No, I know.
Yeah, and Arnold did not comment on the book. I keep calling him Arnold. It's funny, but he didn't comment on it, and he did write about it. Jim has something in the book that he did with Arnold about it, but I think it was a big deal for a little bit, but I mean it washed away.
Yeah. I find particularly interesting about your book, and I know you had this in the back of your mind, and one of the reasons, not only that you wanted to give it context and have the narrative, but you didn't want everybody going to the last page. Oh, now I know. Oh, that's number 1. That's number 2. It's fascinating, and to just to have it around the house, and you're not going to necessarily read it all at once, but just kind of catch it here and there and read a couple more pages, and I just think it's terrific.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, I worked hard on it. I wanted it to be as comprehensive as possible of all the different eras of the sport, all the different players, and in many ways, I wanted to bring them alive. I used to read these obituaries all the time about players who had passed, and I never quite felt that enough was written about them. So I was so happy to be able to tell people about a Leo Deagle, a Denny Shude, Paul Runyon. You can go on and on.
Yeah, I mean, just these wonderful names, and it's not just men. I mean, a lot of women are listed.
Yeah, I felt it was really important that women were not marginalized. They have been marginalized enough. So it was harder to where to exactly to fit them in the order, but I compared their records to each other, not against the men. And I included women like Lorena Ochoa, Sari Pack, whose numbers didn't quite add up in the totality of their careers, but Sari Pack was an unbelievable. It had an unbelievable impact on the sport. Look at all the South Korean women now who play the tour. Yeah. And Lorena Ochoa won the Player of the Year 4 times in a row and retired at the age of 28. Who's to say what numbers she would have put up if she had stuck around?
Yeah, you wrote a book on Pippen, Scottie Pippen, right?
I worked with Scottie on his memoir. Yeah, it came out in 2021.
Oh, now, wow, fun.
Is that the ultimate Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, where the kid's writing about Butch? I mean, it's kind of in the shadows, but a terrific story.
I mean, he had his years in Portland.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Didn't Scottie Pippen lead the way when he was in Portland? I'm not sure. I might be having my teams mixed up.
Yeah, he was an important player in that Trailblazers team that won 2000. I think they made it to the Western Conference Final and lost that Game 7 to the Lakers. After, I think they had about a 15-point lead or so heading into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Scottie was an important player on that team.
That was Walton's year, right?
No,
that was Walton later. Walton was
earlier.
Earlier, oh, okay.
Walton was earlier, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Walton was, yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of fun working with Scottie and hearing the old stories about the Bulls and Michael and all that.
Cool.
So these days you just put this out. This just came out. Thank you for sending me a copy, by the way. I can't say enough that if you've got a golf fan, and it's not far from Father's Day either, on the list as birthday or Father's Day, boy, this is a terrific book for him. It would be any golf fan for Mother's Day, for that matter. It was a terrific gift. Tell me, there is a story. I'm going to throw this out of left field because I vaguely remember the story. And I don't mean to be talking only about the Masters, but since we're at that time of year, isn't there a story about Curtis Strange seeing somebody's ghost or something, or seeing somebody in the crowd that had gone for, I believe, 15 or something in 2 and then backed off and hit it in? Do you remember that story?
That sounds vaguely familiar. I didn't really talk to him about that. I mean, you're talking about the Masters when he had the lead on the back nine, and went in the water on 13 and 15 with bogeys. It would have been quite a story, I'll tell you that. I mean, he started the week with an 80, and he even made a plane reservation to come home, assuming he wasn't going to make the cut, and he came so close to winning a green jacket.
Well, without revealing 1 and 2, which are the top 5, and folks can probably put a lot of that together in their heads, do you run into people that probably accept those rankings from you and say number 49 was way off, though, Michael?
No, it hasn't happened yet, but I'll look forward to somebody raising that. I'm ready for the argument.
So, what do you got on here? What is, Dotson has a book about the range bucket list and talks about the things he wants to get to. And I always ask whether it's musicians or writers. The question is, what have you got in the back of your mind that you'd like to address?
Really I've been really lucky. I've done this book and the other book that I really wanted to do, and I'm so glad I did, came out in 2007. I did a book on the first fight between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. And I remember as a kid being so transfixed by that fight. And I would argue that 50-some-odd years later, it's still the most compelling single sporting event of our lifetime. 2 undefeated champions, and with so much going on in America, with basically an America that was divided at the time.
Right.
And Ali and Frazier, and it wound up delivering incredible 15-round fight. That I wanted to tell that story. I did. I talked to Angela Dundee. I talked to Freddie Pacheco, his fight doctor, a lot of other people. I was glad to do that. And this is the other book that I was so happy to do. I don't see another project quite like that, but you never know.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Ali?
No, I did not. Well, wait a minute. I did not for the purposes of this book, but as a kid, I was at the Eden Rock Hotel, Eden Beach, in Miami Beach,
Yeah.
Eden Rock Hotel.
Right.
Let me get it out. And it was about 2 weeks before the Ali's fight with Oscar Bonavena in December of 1970, and I'm in the lobby of the hotel, and Ali walks in. I just went up to him, and I said, "You're Muhammad Ali?" He goes, "Yeah." And I asked for his autograph, and it's the only autograph I ever asked for and received, and I still have it.
Good for you. Good for you. What a great memory. The book is called The Golf 100. Michael, is it Arkush? Do I pronounce that correctly?
Arkush.
Arkush. All right. It is under any name, how you pronounce it. It is you can pronounce the description of this book as interesting, terrific, compelling, and a great deal of joy. So we really thank you, buddy. It's on Doubleday Press.
Yep. Doubleday. It's on sale on Tuesday, available on Amazon, and also people can go on the Penguin Random House website.
All right, well, get out there and get that book. And let's see, since I got you on the line, give me a sleeper at Augusta this year.
Oh, boy, a sleeper. Tommy Fleetwood. How about that?
Tommy Fleetwood's a good choice. I've got Hovland, but sleeper is a good choice. And you never know with Scotty. So it's funny, is it true? And I don't know this to be a fact, but I would think that of all golf tournaments that non-golfers will watch, I would think that the Masters is number one.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. People I know who don't care at all about the sport ask me about the Masters. They never ask me about the U.S. Open. I think it's also part of what time of year it comes out, April as opposed to June. It's sort of in many people's minds, the beginning of the golf season, even though they've been playing since January.
I was at the Augusta, and when you tell the story, speaking of 16, of Fred Couples, or rather 12, Fred Couples, the ball stopping from going in the creek the year he won in 92. I was there, and I remember for the ceremony opening, it was Jimmy DeMerit, who else would have been? Sam Snead and Gene Saracen. And I was standing on the first tee, and I was crying. And the guy says to me, "You okay?" I said, "I'm just a little overwhelmed." And going there, driving past the Poco Loco and the Jack in the Box and the Taco Bells and making a right into Augusta is one of the most magical places on the planet.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt. I was fortunate to play it once.
Oh, you have to know God to go there and be God to play there.
Yeah, I was really, really lucky, and I played pretty well. I'm not going to tell you my score because I had a bunch of 4 putts. I had about 5 or 6 pars, but I had a bunch of 4 putts. Those greens are just so tough.
Well, it is a cathedral with a leather grip, and you, my friend, are a marvelous author, and I'm so thankful you took time to say hello.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Good. Take care of yourself.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
sharing.
Bye-bye.
Good book, The Golf 100. So you'd like this book.
It looks
you
like
have
a
an
fun
attention
one.
span similar to mine.
Maybe a goldfish, yes.
But yeah. Oh, speaking of that, obviously, what's that from?
What?
About having the memory of a goldfish?
No, I don't.
You
know.
don't know?
No.
That's what's the big thing from Ted Lasso.
Oh, really?
When he tries to tell them, somebody on the team made a mistake. And he said, you know what you need? You need to have a memory of a goldfish. Because a goldfish forgets everything as soon as it happens.
Right.
And he says, that's what you need to do in sports. If you make a mistake, you don't drag it with you.
Away. Yeah.
And you've seen Ted Lasso, right?
Only a few episodes.
Oh, we need to watch the whole thing. First of all. Secondly, they're doing another season.
Okay.
Which is great. Did you ever watch, see Rachel, before she went to law school, watched everything.
I know she did.
And I got to
when she
just
had
talk
time.
Dallas cheerleaders with you. Did you watch Hacks?
No, I haven't watched Hacks.
You got to watch that. They're doing another season. If we're going to talk binging for 1 second, while I'm doing this, get Weekend Liner Notes ready.
All right.
There's a show on Netflix called The Residency, which is kind of an Agatha Christie murder mystery.
Yeah.
Just charming. It's a murder at the White House.
Okay.
And it's tongue-in-cheek, and it's great fun, and it's 8 episodes. Because when you get into 30 episodes, I don't have time for
Pay
this.
attention, yeah.
But anyway, so you want to do weekend liner notes there, Brando?
We can do that.
Didn't we do this last week? It took me an hour to find it. But I think I will do this because I've got it right here. So close. Today we return to some classic jazz with some terrific vocalese. In 1957, Lambert Hendricks and Ross released their first album, Sing a Song of Basie. The recording marked the beginning of a 7-year run for this remarkable group and their new sound. Actually, the word new is a bit of a misnomer. As early as 1949, King Pleasure experimented with adding words to instrumentalist solos. In the case of Moody's Mood for Love, originally performed with Blossom Dearie, it was James Moody's tenor solo which served as the inspiration for the tune. Today, it's Miles Davis' composition of 4. Of the wonderful things in life that you get, of the wonderful things you get out of life, there are 4. That may not be many, but nobody needs any more. Of the many things making the list of life, truth takes the lead. And to relax knowing the gist of life, it's truth you need. From 1961, a marvelous live performance. Enjoy.
That you get out of life, there are 4. Baby, and they may not be nasty, but nobody needs any more.
Of the many facts making the list of life, truth takes the lead. And to relax, knowing the gist of life, it's truth you need.
And the second is honor, and happiness makes number 3. When you put them together, you know what the last one must be. Baby, so the truth, honor, and happiness, and one thing more, be the only wonderful, wonderful love that'll make it 4.
Don't you know the score? Well, people when they're younger never realize the pleasure, treasure life's got. But as they grow older, realize a lot. They got their mind on all the wrong it seems, and things that cost a lot of money, but it's really very funny. They fade away and don't amount to a hill of beans. Funny how the things in life we really should adore, we forget or ignore, end up poor. Spend a lot of time on money and madness and end up in sadness. Youth is the time when we should see the light. When we're old and wasted, the dues for what we've tasted run so high that we pay till we die. Then we know that youth that made us strong is wasted on the young. So enjoy your daily love life and live it gaily. You'll find a lot of things to bring you joy and give peace of mind. Get it while the getting's good, 'cause everybody, if you only would, life would be a set, life would be a groovy set, groovy as a movie. Well, well, let your voice be heard, spread the word, everybody hears God is. Only gotta teach 'em how to use 'em, not abuse 'em. So take a tip from me. The world's everything it ought to be, as long as you can be sure there was no more to life than the same old war.
I believe I know, but time will show that even though the foursome 2 and 2 together constitute a foursome. That's all 4 is figure. That's all. Ain't gonna be getting any bigger. Doesn't matter how you slice it up, you'll never change it. You count everything that fate throws into life's pot, still really 4 is all you got. Haven't they told you about the little pleasures that are part of all the rest? You love a little and live a little, take a little and give a lot, still the total is happiness. But that's only one, you've just begun. There's gonna be more. After this, truth and honor shining, and love combining to make it 4. No more.
Nothing after me is scoring more. And for they may not come on the loss, you only got those four. There ain't no more.
Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, and Four, the Miles Davis composition. Miles wrote the lyrics, in fact, to that, and Four. We're wrapping it up, Brandon.
Yes, we are.
You were able to repair that A-Train? It's going to work?
I think so. And
It
we'll
was
see if we made
just,
it back on the tracks.
Did you do that as a kid? Wait, you have no idea where this is going.
No.
Did you have a lot of electric trains as a kid? Did you
I-
crash
my-
them and stuff?
My dad, he did buy me a train set, but I had wished he bought me a Hot Wheels set.
Yeah.
So I played with the train set and I liked it, but I still always wanted a Hot Wheels set.
And you never got it?
Never
Oh.
got it. Train set instead. Well, actually,
Now, did you have the
I got
burning
TV
wires
instead.
and stuff?
burning
You know
wires.
where you have to hook the wires into the electrodes to make the electric train work?
Yes.
Yeah, you just. I'm sorry, I forgot. I came from a generation before electricity, so it's a little different for me. A little couple of program notes coming up next Saturday. Judy Wexler, our friend, marvelous vocalist.
Yes.
We had talked to her a couple of months ago, but her new CD, No Wonder, is coming out. And then I had, you'll like this, Brando, did an interview the other day with Coach Numa Talolo of the Spartans,
Okay.
San Jose State. We sat for a little while and did an interview, and we're going to play that interview next week. Fascinating guy.
Yeah.
He was at Navy for years. He
Okay.
won the Bear Bryant Award twice, but was at Navy. And I said to him, it was a really interesting conversation. I said, having coached at Navy, is there somewhat a little easier because these guys are so disciplined anyway?
Right.
He says it is a little bit because these guys got to go make their bed. They've got rules to
Exactly.
follow. It's not like you're
Yeah.
dealing with the average college kid. But he said, when you get to it, football's football. So, and I said, well, football is football, but football's not football what it used to be.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but you got to accept it. We'll talk in the interview about the portals and stuff, and how free agency now is in college sports.
Oh, wow.
Which essentially,
I hadn't thought about how it would affect the Naval Academy.
Oh, well, it doesn't affect them, but
Okay.
being in San Jose State,
Okay.
yeah, you can. Once you're in the service, I think I'll opt out. No, but fascinating guy. We'll play
Right.
that. Coming, and then I'm off for a couple of weeks. Off for the Masters.
Okay.
We're off on the 12th. And then on the 19th, we got to put something together. Alan Harris, great vocalist, will be here on the 26th. And then I'm off to New York for a couple of weeks. And we do a thing with Rosie and Bill in the mornings called a New York Minute.
Okay.
Which is nice, because normally when I call them for a thing on Thursdays, it's at 6:35 a.m., so I can do it at a decent hour back there. I'll tell you a very quick story. We have a minute. I was calling in the other day, and I was on hold, and I normally have to listen to them play Battle of the Sexes and stuff, which is really funny. But Bill always plays an old radio commercial before I come on, or many times, and he played two, and the first one he played was John Wayne doing an anti-cancer American Cancer Society commercial, because he died ultimately of lung cancer. And so they play this commercial. He's talking about raising money for the American Cancer Society. Now, I'm on hold. And they go to the next commercial, and it's John Wayne doing a commercial for Camel cigarettes. And it was really weird. So the commercial ends, Rosie comes to me, and I say, well, this is John Wayne for Sinclair Caskets. And they went, that's good. That pretty much finishes. So that's how those conversations go. Have I stalled long enough? I think I'm pretty close.
We got another minute.
Oh, are you
Two.
kidding? No, not or two. Oh, my Lord. All right.
Maybe the Yankees will hit another home run.
Maybe
in
they
that
probably
time.
went. They're up to 8 now.
Yeah.
Or they were. That's when the last spoke. There's probably been a couple of innings already. I'm trying to think of what else we've got coming up during the summer. So we get closer to football, we'll start talking. And we don't always talk sports.
No, never.
When Rachel's here, we talk the law.
Yeah.
And talk binging. Anyway, I guess I can't just say anyway and close my mouth, because people are listening and they expect to hear something. So watch The Residency. I like it a lot.
Okay.
Seen Den of Thieves? I like Gerard Butler.
You like Gerard Butler?
Yeah,
I like him too.
Well, I like those goofy films about White House Down and stuff. Where they attack the White House, all the drones, or excuse me, or Paris Down. Yeah, I love those big productions.
What do you think of Jason Statham? Then he does.
I like Jason Statham. I like The
Statham?
Beekeeper,
Okay.
and he has a new one. What is it? Handyman or Hard Worker or something?
Handyman, I think it is.
Oh, I'll tell you real quickly. My son and I yesterday, if you're a horror fan, which I know you are, The Monkey, which is the news taken from the Stephen King, and he produced it, and it's terrific. The best deaths you've ever seen, the most bizarre, and everybody hates those monkeys that play the drums.
Yeah.
They're so creepy, and the plot is these. I'm not giving anything away, but these twins, their dad moves away and they're going through his stuff and they find one of those monkeys with the drum, and every time you wind it up, somebody dies. Great movie. If you love horror films, I can't recommend it enough. Right. And if you're bothered by gore, you'd hate it. It's just, but it is very creative. I found myself going, I never would have thought of killing someone that way. Anyway,
all right,
A-Train is on its way in, and we've got it back on track, quite literally. You can bring it up while we're talking, and I'm sure Rachel's fine. We'll find her soon. And until next time, as always, this show has been for Mark, for George, and for you. Until next Saturday, noon here on Santa Cruz Voice, and anytime on Spotify and Apple and all your favorite streaming services, when we once again raise the standards on Jacoby. I'll see you soon.
You should take a train. You get to where you're going in a hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Now it's coming. Can't you hear the rails are humming? If you should miss the A train.